Please welcome Samuel Lowe!
Hello, hello. I told my friend I was coming up here today, and he said, don't forget to let him know that you look a bit like a low testosterone Tarzan. A few of you disagree, a few of you are a bit like, nah, it just looks a bit like Joe Wicks got fat. Everyone knows who Joe Wicks is? Yeah. For those of you that don't know, he became the nation's PE teacher during lockdown, which I found a bit suspicious. There's only two reasons to be a PE teacher. One, because you failed maths and English. And two, because you're a nonce. Fair enough, Joe. I guess he just likes his women like he likes his meals, lean and 15. Who here drives? Give me a cheer. All right, you'll be able to relate to this then. I was driving up here today, almost got in a fight on the way here. Got a bit of road rage. You know when somebody's crossing the road and then they stand in the middle of the road and you wave them across and then they do that stupid fucking run across the rest of the road. You know what I mean, that thing? So that was me. I was driving up here and somebody was in the middle of the road and I waved them across and they didn't do the stupid run. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I put my head out the window. I was like, oi! Do the stupid run! What are you doing? Do the stupid run! Guy stopped behind me. I was like, oh, leave him alone, mate. And I was like, no, he's not got to do the stupid run. He was like, no, leave it out. I was like, no, I don't care if he is in a wheelchair. He does the stupid run like everybody else. No, I'm only joking. He wasn't in a wheelchair. When I shouted out the window, he'd actually fallen out. He was just crawling across the rest of the... I recently entered my 30s. Anyone here in their 30s? Give me a cheer. Yeah? No. It's just... I don't mind it, but I've just been kind of annoyed at everything since it's happened, to be honest with you. Tell you something I've been pretty annoyed at. I called up the GP the other day. Said it'd take 4 weeks to get a phone call back. 4 weeks to get a phone. I thought waiting for an appointment on the NHS is like having sex with someone that you're not really attracted to. You know, you don't complain because they're doing their best. But in the back of your head, you think to yourself, it might have been worth the money to pay for someone privately. I did eventually manage to get an appointment, though, to be fair. The GP called me in. I needed him to check out one of my moles. And when I got there, he just looked at it and was just like, well, you should probably just take it to the vet. What a waste of 4 weeks, eh? No, I don't want to shit on the NHS because it's free, isn't it? All right, it's pretty good. So, because private healthcare is not that much better. Like I remember going to America, had to go to hospital, didn't have any insurance, and ended up costing me $8,000. And he popped in to use the toilet, so it's fucking mental. I did end up getting a diagnosis. My diagnosis is I've got OCD. It's not the cleaning one, it's that my hair has to be the exact same length as my pubes. It can be quite lonely. Luckily, my girlfriend has the exact same kind. She's got a mohawk. She was saying to me the other day, she was playing with her mohawk, one on her head. She was like, oh, I'm hoping to grow this out. And I was like, yeah, I'm hoping for alopecia. No, the actual OCD that I have is that I over-prepare for things because I'm definitely afraid that I'm going to get something wrong. Things that I've been preparing for recently. I've been eating a lot of hair soup, you know, just in case I go to a restaurant, there's a hair in my soup, so I know what to do, you know. Can I ask your name? Maria, okay. I'm going to find some hair in my soup, okay? And when I do, I just want you to say, is everything okay with your meal, sir? Yeah? Okay, I'll make it obvious. I'll do this. Yeah? You got me, Maria? Sorry, what was your name? Kate. Did you just hear what I said to Maria? Okay. When I find a hair, is everything okay with your meal, sir? Okay? What did I say? Not yet. Right. Lovely. Right, you ready? It's a deep bowl. Yeah. Nailed that. Been practicing that for 3 weeks. Other stuff I've been practicing, just crimes. Knew I was coming up to Liverpool, wanted to fit in. No, but just in case I got caught, before I got here, I've also been practicing hide and seek, so I can get away. Happy to announce I'm 10-0. I've been practicing it with my nephew. Tell you my secret. What I do is I'll get him to count to 60, and then I just get in my car and go home. Other things I've been practicing. Been practicing a bit of taekwondo. So like, if I end up getting caught, if the police officer doesn't give me that 60 seconds grace, I'm not anyone's bitch in prison. Don't want to be anyone's bitch. Also been practicing anal sex just in case I lose that fight in prison. I did some psychology with a psychologist. It'd be weird if I did it with someone else, wouldn't it? I did some psychology with a psychologist, and they said I think it stems from my dad. So when I was younger, when I was about 5, I've got a vivid memory of my dad, and I got something wrong, and I was really upset, and I went up to my dad, and I was like, Dad, I got this wrong. And he goes, son, and he said that old saying. He was like, son, if you fail to prepare, then you're a cunt. And I didn't want to be a cunt, so... no. Other things I've been annoyed with recently is I don't like the hyperbole that the minus of inconveniences is the worst thing that's ever happened to someone. Do you know what I mean? So I was in a Nando's the other day, and a guy was at the counter, and he turned to me, he goes, is there anything worse than a 45-minute wait on food? I was like, well, 46 minutes? Slightly worse, isn't it? I frequent the gym, and I was in the sauna. This guy came walking in, he was doing this. Yeah. He was like, there's nothing worse than water in your ear. I thought to myself, this guy has obviously never waited 45 minutes for food before. But when he said that I hated this man, one, because he'd spoken to me. Fair enough, he doesn't know that I don't like being spoken to, but I just don't know what made him think I want to speak to a half-naked, sweaty man furiously finger-fucking his own ear. And two, he'd now stated that there's nothing worse in this world than water in his ear. He was continued talking to me, and he goes, I come here and I go to the gym for 2 hours every day, and I go for a swim for an hour every day. And I found this difficult to believe because he was a big lad. He was a chunky monkey, And he could see the skepticism on my face. And he goes, oh no, look, I struggle to lose weight because I'm technically chemically castrated. I was like, shit, this guy is technically chemically castrated. Still somehow believes there's nothing worse than water in his ear. But he continued, this is absolutely true. He continued, and he goes, yeah, it's the medication I'm on. I've got prostate cancer. I was like, whew. Still believes there's nothing worse than water in his ear. But then he would know. He's got all 3 of these things. He's the leading authority on this. I now stand here before you. I now believe there's nothing worse than water in your ear. So he continues speaking to me, and he goes, 6 months ago, my parents died. I was like, oh, shit. This is the first thing I said to him. I was like, well, both at the same time. And he goes, yeah. I was like, shit. And he goes, yeah, what was happening was they were driving across a bridge, and somebody was coming the other way. Guy coming the other way had an epileptic fit, crashed into the side of them, off the bridge, into the water. And I was like, shit, so they drowned. And he said, no, the officer said that they would have died on impact. I was like, oh, that's not so bad then. And he looked at me like I was a monster. And I was like, no, sorry, mate, I didn't mean anything by it. I just meant that if your parents had died on impact, then they wouldn't have been able to feel any of the water going into their ear. Because as we know, there's nothing fucking worse than that, is there? Thank you very much. I've been Sam Love.